Welcome to Frankly Speaking with Sendra D, where we journey beyond the surface to uncover the essence of living an authentic, affluent life. I'm Sendra D, your companion guide on this path of self-discovery and empowerment. Welcome to another episode of Frankly Speaking with Sendra D. My name is Sendra Dorcé. I am your host, and I am so pleased and honored today to bring you the fantastic and wise Dr. Nikhil Mehta. I must say, and he is located in Pune, India, and I felt as I was preparing for this, I felt that I was being transported back in India because I was there last year for 4 months. So I want to tell you a little bit about Dr. Mehta. Well, first of all, Dr. Mehta and I met in India in 2009 when I went to Igapuri, which is one of the largest centers in the world, if not the largest, of Vipassana meditations. And those of you who have been listening to me know that I'm a committed practitioner of Vipassana meditation. And I also released a podcast a few weeks ago on the practice of Vipassana. He is also a Vipassana teacher, but that's not what we're here to talk to you about today. Today, the topic will be Ayurveda medicine, because he is a seasoned practitioner, provider of Ayurvedic care, and which is why I got to spend a lot of time with him. I think I was actually with you for a couple of weeks, and one of the best experiences. I had just finished my 45-day course, and I went to have some Ayurvedic treatment in Pune with Dr. Mehta. So without further ado, let me tell you a bit about Dr. Mehta. He is, of course, as I mentioned, he is a Ayurvedic doctor, which is what you call an MBBS. And it's a degree in modern medicine that he took in 1991. And fortunately, you came in contact with the science of Ayurveda. Then you were learning Ayurveda and with different Ayurvedic doctors. And you then in 1998 started your own practice. You opened your own clinic. You very soon realized that most of the health issues that were occurring at the time were due to food and the body's reaction to food. And the lifestyle, and of course, lifestyle in this day and age is stress related. And of course, stress on the body and stress on the mind. And so the wisdom of Ayurveda is what called you, and you have been practicing that since 1991 and independently since 1998. You talk about that the causes of simple mistakes in food habits, in lifestyle. Then you realize that your patients just needed a bit of guidance. And so I've said as much as I could about you based on the written text, but I would like you to tell the audience on a more personal note, fill in the blank. What exactly did I miss? What would you like before we begin? How would you like the audience to get to know you and to understand your journey to Ayurveda?
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Sendra. And yeah, it's very interesting journey. Basically, I'm a modern medicine doctor, as you mentioned. And I got introduced to Ayurveda through one of my friends. And just out of interest, I started learning Ayurveda. And I don't know when I got passionate about Ayurveda. The most important thing is it was very practical, it was very logical, and more than that, it was very experiential. And then I started learning with different doctors. And of course, in Ayurveda, we can do two parts. One is medicines and treatments, it's one part of Ayurveda. But today we understand Ayurveda just as some herbal medicines or some panchakarma treatments, and that's all.
Mhm.
But that's not Ayurveda.
Tell
That's a
us, what
part of
is
Ayurveda.
Ayurveda? What is
Yeah.
Ayurveda?
Actually, the word Ayurveda is Veda means knowledge and Ayu is life. So for your life, it's a knowledge how to remain healthy. So everything is get covered, not just being healthy physically, but
Mhm.
also mentally. They're talking about morality and they are talking about Shil Rasayan. Shil Rasayan mean Rasayan is a tonic, and they say a lot of tonics. Like you must be knowing, there is one very famous tonic known as Chavan Everyone goes after that. But they say the best tonic, a list of tonics, and they say the best tonic is Shil Rasayan. Shil
Repeat
Rasayan
that again. What is
means
it?
a Shil Rasayan.
Okay,
Rasayan is tonic and Shil is morality.
perfect.
So they say that morality is the best tonic. Because of that, you remain peaceful. And if you are peaceful, your body will be healthy.
Absolutely.
So
It's the
so
mind
there
body.
is connection. Yeah, they talks. See, it's very interesting that there are three main books of Ayurveda, and one of the book, he's a writer from 6th century AD,
Mhm.
Vagbhat. He starts his book with a shloka that I am saluting a doctor who treats the diseases of the mind, and he's saluting Buddha. And then he starts his book on Ayurveda. It's a very wonderful science which
So,
I
what was
can
the
say
name of
that
the author that you mentioned that wrote the book?
uh, Vagbhata, Vagbhata,
Perfect.
Vagbhata.
Perfect.
So he was the author. And so Ayurveda gives you every angle which helps you to remain healthy. It's not just medicines and treatments.
Mhm.
And I can see the modern science also is doing a lot of efforts for the health. Definitely, there are so many good people in modern science,
Of course.
and they
Of
are,
course.
yeah, and they are inventing so many things, so many good things for the humanity.
Mhm.
But now I can see the journey of modern science. Now the journey of modern science, like maybe for 20, 30, 50 years back, everything is just infection.
So they're
And
not
now
into the most healing, they're into managing, right?
managing and not talking about diet and lifestyle and mind.
And root cause.
Now root cause. And now everyone now is reaching to that point of diet, lifestyle, and mind.
Mhm.
Almost all the modern doctors. And Ayurveda was talking this thousands of years back. So
Absolutely.
that's very interesting. That's very interesting.
It
That
is
is
very interesting.
to
So
understand Ayurveda.
so
Another,
now we're talking about where we're talking about the fundamentals of Ayurveda before it got corrupted, because I think that there are some practitioners of Ayurveda, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, that apply Ayurveda in cooperation, and they they mix the two, traditional Ayurveda medicine and pharmaceuticals. Explain to me the fundamentals of Ayurveda. How could Ayurveda be so successful as a fundamental tool of healing in, in back then? But so why is there a need now to incorporate pharmaceuticals? Because
yeah,
there are, do you follow, it's contradictory if you're using two methodologies that are, because one seems to be, actually some of these medicines actually create disease, don't they?
yeah. See, what has happened in this is journey of life. Like you just go few years back, and
Mhm.
the lifestyle was totally different. It was a quite a slow lifestyle. Like I say jokingly, this electricity has come and everything has went wrong.
Including with social media and the computer, which is allowing us to discuss now. There
Yeah,
are some benefits to it, but there are also
yeah.
some consequences because you are in India. In what time is it in India for you now?
It is now 8 p.m., almost 8 p.m.
So more
Yeah,
than likely, you wouldn't have been having a conversation with someone like me, who
yeah,
is it's actually 10 o'clock in the morning for me. So the time difference, we weren't connecting on such a stressful level. But please,
yeah.
continue to talk about the fundamentals of Ayurveda. I'm sorry I distracted you. So
Yeah.
you were talking about the basic principles of Ayurveda. And can you clarify more for those who've never heard of Ayurveda?
Yeah. Let me finish this answer that
Mhm.
when we are leading a slow lifestyle, and it was like, as Ayurveda said, when to get up and when to go to sleep, and the food timings, and etc., etc., and a lot of physical work. So, need of medicines and the diseases are actually very less at that time. So the people were not falling sick as every day something is happening to us every day.
Mhm.
Some headache or acidity or cold and cough and some. It was not the story. So that's why. And now we don't have time to wait. Everything is so
Right.
fast.
Everything is
So
fine.
we need these medicines, the modern medicines, because they act very fast and
Mhm.
so many things.
So that's the difference.
But
We didn't have cars
yeah,
back then either, remember? Basically, we didn't have cars that we had to speed to get to where we were going. So cars,
yeah,
I think, in electricity are two factors that accelerated the pace of humanity.
yeah. And then I can realize a patient comes to me and realize that he because of the speed of life, he cannot simply follow the simple laws of health. Like he's hungry and he is not able to eat. He wants a rest and he is not able to take a rest. How can he will be healthy? So that has changed. And we ultimately we have to go to the root of the problem,
Mhm.
and we have to slow down. And that's why meditation is very important. We have
Yes.
to slow down, and then everything will be settled.
It's,
Otherwise how Ayurveda will help? Ayurveda is not something like God sitting in the sky and just helping everyone.
yes,
It's a
granting wishes.
Yeah, it's a science. It has a
Yes.
cause and effect law.
So let's talk about that. The
Yeah.
fundamentals of Ayurveda, as I was saying earlier, what are the basic principles? Let's start there.
So actually, what I realized is the theory of five elements. They have reached to the subtlest particle, physical particle of the body, and that they called it as Pancha Mahabhuta, five basic elements. And it's a balance of these five basic elements. These five basic elements are earth, water, fire, wind, and space. And this whole physical structure, or every physical structure in the world, is made from permutation combination of these five. And this five has qualities. So when they are in balance in the body, you are healthy. Something or other is less and more, there is some imbalance or ill health. So that's the fundamental principle of Ayurveda. But it's difficult to prove scientifically because science has not reached up to this five particles. It may be, I don't know, it may be more subtler than nanoparticles or electrons or something like that.
But
But
they would have to admit that there's something bigger than just the physical reality. Because I do feel that now we're transitioning into the realm of spirituality. But most of the average scientists will not accept any logic based on spirituality. Would you agree? That's
yeah,
probably what's hindering them as to understanding that combination and how it affects the body because they just look at the body as something tangible.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But experientially, we can understand it. We cannot prove it scientifically, but experientially, any simple human being, if he learns the basics of Ayurveda, he can understand what has happened in my body. There is no need actually of a doctor also. He can understand. It is so simple. And I'm sure that if we go back to our forefathers, they had this basic knowledge.
Yes, they did. Because they didn't
And
have an option. We have
huh?
so many options today. They don't have Google.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Google is, again, we say advances are fantastic, but at the same
Yeah,
time, there are consequences to these advances if you don't know how to manage the advances. Because
yeah,
sometimes we don't take time to understand and listen to the body. And that's because we could just Google and find just the corner drugstore will give us a pill that will take the ill away without understanding really what is causing it. Yeah.
yeah,
And so it becomes chronic.
absolutely.
So everyone now has pharmaceuticals in their house for this fix and that fix without trying to understand. But I wanted to bring you back also to, so we talked about the basic. In can you tie to that is what we call the doshas, the Vata, Pitta, Pata, Pit, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. We will do a more in-depth conversation, but today's conversation is really just to give an overview of what Ayurveda is. And I'm targeting, I know many of you that listen are also well versed in Eastern philosophies, including Eastern medicine. But I am doing this as a 101, class 101, just for those who've never heard of Ayurveda or maybe has heard of Ayurveda and would like to learn more. And so I'm bringing you, fortunately, I have access to Dr. Mehta, who is giving us some insights into this wonderful practice and this wonderful tool for healing. So the talk to us about the doshas and explain very lightly what they are, because I know you could write a book on just one of them. And even I've been exposed to Ayurveda for over a decade. I still have trouble understanding the different doshas. So talk to us and segment each one of them so that the audience can understand clearly as
Yeah.
best as possible.
So, as we talked about, these five elements itself constitute these three doshas. So, Kapha, Pitta, and Vata. So, Kapha is a combination of earth and water element. Pitta is fire and some water element. And Vata is wind and space. And these are the COs of the body. They manage the body's functions. These three has a different role. So in for example, Indian mythology, there is an example of three gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. So Brahma is a god of creation. So Kapha is is a creator. It creates. So earth and water is a creator. So like you want to construct anything, you will
I
need
was thinking
some.
about that, like a sculptor. A
Yeah,
sculptor needs earth and water, clay to mold statues, and I do get that. But what you're
yeah.
speaking about, I guess the theory that you're basing this on is on the Hindu religion, isn't it? It's from the Hindu
No,
religion.
not Hindu religion. It is just I'm giving an example of
Mhm.
it is not religion. There is
No,
no
I know, but
religion
the
in
in Hindu
Ayurveda.
let's call it teaching. There, continue.
Teaching, it's a god. So I'm just giving an example that
Okay,
it's a Brahma is a creator. So Kapha is like a creator.
okay, understood.
Vishnu is a fire. So it runs the whole universe like that. So creation, it's running the universe, and destruction. That's the phenomena.
Yeah.
So in the same way, Kapha is a creator, Pitta runs the show, and Vata is a destruction. It causes destruction. So
Mm-hmm.
wind and space is a destruction.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, you eat some food and the pitta, the fire, digests it, and you keep on living every day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how pitta works. So they have three different roles. And three are very important roles. So in a way, they are our friends, Kapha, Pitta, and Vata. They have their qualities. Like for example, as I said, earth and water. So naturally, there is a heaviness in the Kapha. Whatever heaviness you feel is Kapha. Has a fire. So anything fiery, there is acidity in the stomach, and there is a burning in the stomach, or burning in the eyes, or burning in the legs, and my pitta has gone up. And vata is a wind. So there is a movement, there is a speed. So all the movements in the body are due to vata. So the construction basically is kapha. The pitta is like a metabolism, as I said. And vata is the movement, motion in the body. So these three. Now, when they are in balance, everything is fine. But when there is an imbalance, then there is ill health. So sometimes kapha has increased, or pitta has increased, or vata has increased. And you can, once you understand something about some little things about Ayurveda, you can easily understand, oh, what went wrong.
Sure, absolutely. So I just wanted to, I know when you were treating me, and you've treated me twice, I didn't get to see you last year, but when I did the most in-depth treatment of my lifetime of any type of teachings or any type of tool, when I was with you in Pune, you did a very in-depth examination. And you were also sharing with me that you can have a combination. Most people, you said, are kapha, correct? The majority of, the majority of conditions come from kapha. That's the wind.
No, actually, most of the diseases are due to vata.
Vata. Okay.
Yeah. So they have said in generally kapha has, at that time they are mentioning kapha, due to kapha there are 40 diseases, pitta 80 diseases, vata some 20 diseases or something like that. But most of the diseases are due to vata.
So give us some examples, because I think, like myself, I need information to say, oh, that makes sense and that makes sense. So what are some examples of vata for the general audience who are going through? Because right now, I know my peers are probably dealing with stress and anxiety, especially in the last few years. We've seen so many issues thrown at us. Seems like the world is a bit chaotic. And so stress brings on anxiety and depression. Would you say that anxiety and depression are related to vata? Is that something you can attribute to?
We can't connect the physical things and the mental things directly. They have effect on each other. But like some issue, physical issue may create a depression in someone or may create anxiety in someone. So that's a different story. But I can give you an example of vata.
Yes, please.
So as I said, vata is wind. So just understand the characteristics of wind.
Okay.
Whatever is outside is inside. So wind outside is moving. The nature of the wind is moving. It is very light and it is dry in nature. It is dry. Anywhere wind will, your clothes are there, wet clothes are there, wind has come and it has dried. So dryness is there. And wind has a destructive nature. So big mountain and big rocks on the mountain, and wind is coming to the rocks and there is a wear and tear of the rock. So that's a destructive nature of the wind.
Got it.
So what will happen if wind is more in your body? So what will happen? So very clear sign is dryness. So your skin will be dry, your
like
eyes will be dry.
You have a rash or eczema?
Dry eczema. It will be a dry eczema.
Yes.
Your lips will be dry. Then you're always thirsty, a lot of thirst because of the dryness. Then your stomach will be bloated, like it has come up. So like you put air in the balloon and it floats up. So your stomach will be like that, bloated up and hard. you must have seen many people that they are thin. Their arms and legs are thin,
Very
but
thin.
stomach has come up.
Yes, I do.
What is that?
I know people who are like
Yeah,
that. Yes.
yeah. We can see many. And
Yes.
that's not due to fats. There is a stomach which is due to fats, like that's a kapha problem. But
Mm-hmm.
in a vata problem, it is just a bloated belly
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of gas inside.
Mm-hmm.
That is one. The same gas will dry out your stools, motions, and they become very hard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's again, so constipation. So
Right.
again, related to gas, the same gas, if doesn't come out of your body, will enter into your joints and
Hmm.
will cause a joint pain.
That's arthritis.
The arthritis. The same gas travels to your head and you will get a dizziness. The moment, gas has a moment, so dizziness.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine it's just one root cause and causing 10, 15 different, and there are many more.
Yes, of
Many more.
course. These are great examples, and these are average. But I did think you said also that dementia was one of those conditions that would cause.
Yeah, yeah,
Talk to
yeah.
us about that. Are we seeing an increase in this condition? There's a lot of
Yeah,
talk about that. And
yeah.
so how is that though? Is that related? Because the way, so now we're going to get into so that we talk about the diagnosis. I know you had to study my tongue when you were treating me. So that's the main tool. The tongue tells exactly what is going on in your body. But so talk about how you diagnose people and what it includes how much work do you have to do with the person before. It's not just you don't do blood work, right? You just, how do you actually get into the person's profile, the health profile?
So actually, everything speaks. You just look at him and you start diagnosing. Oh, there is so much of dry skin. Oh, there is blackening of the skin
Mm-hmm.
is getting tanned. And you see his belly, oh, it is full of gas. So
Mm-hmm.
you start diagnosing at that level. That so there are three ways of diagnosis in Ayurveda.
Mm-hmm.
One is known as darshan. Darshan means you just see.
Mm-hmm.
So you're seeing. Second, you're observing the patient, how he walks and etc., how his stomach and skin and etc. Second is sparshan. So you touch him. So you touch and you know, oh, his body is so hot. So he must be having pitta. So hot. Oh, so cold. So he may be having vata. Then you touch his belly. Oh, it is so hard. So touching is another way to diagnosis
Mm-hmm.
and questioning. And then you question him a lot
Okay.
about his symptoms and his daily routine and his food habits and mind related things. So these three things, and of course, any blood report or maybe MRI report or scan, everything will help you to diagnose.
Sure, but not
But these are
necessary
the
because I mean
not
back then they didn't
necessary.
have those tools.
Yeah, but what happened today is if I talk about myself, in some cases, not that efficient to diagnose. There may be some tumor in
Mm.
the brain, and I'm not that efficient now. Maybe previously they must be efficient, but I'm not efficient that much that I'm just watching his pulse or watching him and diagnosing a tumor in the brain. So I need to take help of investigations, and
Of the
nothing
traditional
wrong
medical.
into that. Yeah, nothing wrong into that.
No, absolutely,
But
absolutely.
in most of the cases, like I can say in 80% of the cases, this much is enough. I'm just questioning, touching him, and watching him.
So
And
what percentage do you actually just use the traditional methodologies to diagnose, and how what's the percentage that you actually turn to more technology to assist you in diagnosis?
And that's what I'm saying. Around 80% of the patients, I don't need much modern
80%?
technology. Huh? 80%. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so I hope, was I the first Western patient that you had, non-Indian?
No, many I had. Yeah.
So, well, because, oh yeah, of course, because of there are a lot of Western foreigners that come to India. So now talk to me more about a little bit more about the type of treatments that you prescribe. We don't want to go too deep into it. As I said, we'll do many more episodes. I want the audience to ask any questions if we didn't go deep enough into about any particular topic that we just talked about. Just leave a comment at the bottom of the video so we can know what you'd like us to discuss a little bit more in depth. So for now, let's just briefly touch on the typical treatment or therapies that you can use in Ayurveda when you see the average patient.
So there are many ways. Every doctor has its own way. What I prefer is correcting his lifestyle, food, and mind, and not immediately starting on medicines or treatment. So I prefer that he should learn from his mistakes. I point out his mistakes. Hey man, you are not having food when you are hungry. So there is gases problem and acidity definitely, and so many others will follow the problems. Hey, you are not exercising. You are just sitting whole day, and then how you will be healthier? And someone is doing too much of exercise, so I have to stop him. You're doing too much of exercise. Your
Has to be
vata will
middle
increase.
ground.
Yeah. So that's how I treat my patients. And in most of my patients, I get result just by this fine tuning of food, lifestyle, and mind. And then if doesn't work, then I go for some Ayurveda medicines.
So as you touch on, food is a significant portion of your treatment. So each dosha has a type of food. Can you give us an example of the type of food that you would provide to, let's say, the one that we discussed, which was
Vata? Yeah. So see the logic, and that's why Ayurveda is very interesting, because every food is again made up of these five elements. Combination, every medicine, even that's why I say sometimes I prescribe allopathic medicines, knowing that which combination it has of five elements.
Right.
So even that works. So everything is made up of these five elements. So food is also made up of these five elements. So if it's a vata, a person with a vata issues, gas issues, wind issues, then we have to see that which food causes vata, which food has more wind and space into it. So then I can realize all these sprouts and beans and vegetables, they are all very light in nature and they have more wind into them. And today what has happened is, see, it's like a pendulum. A few years back, everyone was talking about oil, not to have. And now they are giving coconut oil for dementia in US itself.
Yes.
Now the villain is sugar. Now the villain is not oil. Now it has shifted. The pendulum has shifted to sugar. And I'm sure after some years, again the pendulum will shift to something else.
Well, so milk, dairy is shifted to dairy as well.
Dairy, yeah.
To eliminate dairy.
Yeah. Here is the problem. Here, because they don't understand the concept of constitution, they think every human being is same. So this is not good. This is not good for everyone.
Right.
So for vata, now they talk a lot about proteins, and if they have a lot of this beans and etc., the wind element is going to be more in the body, and he will be suffering with vata issues. And the same time, The Ayurveda said the best medicine of Vata is oil. And now see how dangerous it is. A Vata person having a lot of gases and not having oil, because he has listened from everywhere that oil is not good for the health. And this is his medicine. So I get so many cases, and when I talked about oil, they are taken aback. Oh my God, he is talking about oil. And when I give them oil and they feel better, then they believe that, oh, oil is the best medicine for Vata.
For Vata.
So
Yeah.
same
So
about,
you're being specific about Vata, and there are different types for the other two, which is we talked about Pitta and Kapha. So we're not going to go too much into the others because we're going to do an in-depth examination, a series of Ayurvedic medicine podcasts, and let us know which one would be your top favorite to discuss, because Dr. Mehta has agreed to come back even before I had him on, because we want to do a series for you. It's going to be an educational video. We want to educate you, and we want to bring out as much information as possible to the to the public, because a lot of people don't know what they don't know. So I'm glad I'm able to deliver this information to you. How important is it? Again, can we stress to the audience the importance of lifestyle and diet in Ayurvedic medicine? Because I don't hear you talk about anything else, because I feel like that's really the core. Diet and lifestyle are the main requirement in Ayurvedic medicine to have, and also Western medicine, diet and lifestyle. But they don't go. Someone said to me they were segmenting what I had to eat. It was your nutritionist, and it was very contrary to what I had discussed with you in the past about with Ayurveda. So tell us, how are you able, if someone is very resistant to your treatment plan and they are so accustomed to the Western way style of eating, especially India is a vegetarian society. The majority of Indians in India are not consuming animal products except for dairy. So how do you help your patients to reconcile this into their Western? Well, I'm focusing more on the Western audience, because Indians don't need to come and listen to me or on this podcast. They could teach me. So, yes. So the main people, those that I'm focused on, are those who are accustomed to the 5 main food groups, and they just say, as long as you have those one of the 5 in every meal, you should be okay. How do you counter that with people? How do you combat the resistance?
yeah, I have to teach them. So that's why slowly I understood that just treating a patient is not enough, because I treat him, he feels better, but he listens 100 different things and come to me again with 100 new mistakes. Someone will tell him that, oh, you have to drink 4 liters of water every day, and that's a new information, and he comes to me with 10 new problems. So then I understood that it's not just treating a patient, I have to make him a wise person.
Absolutely.
And so that's why when you teach him whole science, then only he can understand and balance. Because see, doctor is not with you 24 hours. You have to become your own doctor.
Right.
And who will guide you? Not your intellect,
Correct.
your experience. That just take an example of water. Like you are just sitting in your home, and you there is no drop of sweat, and there is no thirst to you. And the second day you are running around here and there, or you are exercising and a lot of sweating, and your body is asking water. So how you decide that today I should drink 4 liters and tomorrow also 4 liters? It's like it's a rainy weather and it's a cold weather and you are not sweating. You won't need much water. But it's
Right.
a hard summer. You will
Correct.
need more water. So listening to the body. So here we have to learn to listen to your body. One day, a day will come that on that day you will need something oily, and another day you will not need something oily. So this flexibility of decisions and fine tuning with the body, so one has to learn that.
Absolutely.
Today you are not,
go ahead.
Yeah. Today you are not hungry. So you should not have food, or you should have something little. And tomorrow your hunger is like a mad, you are mad with the hunger. You have to eat well. How you decide something every day, that will be the same. And that's the problem.
That's the problem.
You go to dietitian and he gives you this, you have to eat this, and it's like a machine.
Right.
He has made you machine. So you have to become your own doctor.
Absolutely, because you are the only person that has the internal wisdom to know what's going on in this machine. So we're going to stop here. And I want you, because I just wanted to give an overview. I would like you to, first of all, give in your final thoughts, give some tips, and for someone who's new, give like, what are the 5 most important things if you want to make some changes right now? What are the most important things for them to do?
Yeah, very good question. Very good. First is, don't listen to anyone. Don't, even not to me. Don't listen to or you. No one should. Listen to your body. First thing. Very important will be your food, and very important rule will be, when you are hungry, you have to eat within 10-15 minutes. And your hunger will vary. Hunger will vary from person to person. A person sometimes may need food 4 times a day, or other person may need just twice a day. It depends on his own metabolism. To your body, very important rule. When you are hungry, you must eat. When you are not hungry, you must not eat. Very important rule. Secondly, don't count. You have to satisfy. When you are eating, you have to. Otherwise, what will happen? You will eat something little, and again after 1 hour or 2 hours, you are hungry. Again, you are eating something little, again you are hungry. So you are not giving a rest to your system. So eat well. What to eat is, we have to discuss a lot on this question.
Sure.
Because everyone will need a different type
of course.
Food. But this is very important. Eat when you are hungry and eat satisfactorily. 2 things.
So no
calorie counting will come in what to eat.
Okay.
That we have to discuss in detail.
Sure. It's individual.
Yeah.
It's not the generic, if you're a woman of this age, you must eat this much. If you're a man of this age, you must eat this much. If you're a growing child, you must have 1 apple per day. Nothing like that.
Nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Well, that's fantastic. Any final thoughts?
Yeah. Then you need a good rest. That's a huge problem today.
Yes, it is.
You have to complete your rest. When getting up in the morning, you should feel nice, fresh. That much rest is very important. In the rest, all the healing process happens. Whatever wear and tear has happened in a whole day, that is balanced in the rest. So rest is very important. How much you have to decide. Someone may need just 6 hours of rest. Someone may need 8 hours of rest, but you should feel fresh in the morning. And lastly, some exercise is very important. Some exercise. So that will, and of course, mind. You have to learn some meditation to quieten down your mind. So these few things, and I think let's begin with this.
We will come back and we'll talk further deeper, but I want you, the audience, to tell Dr. Mehta what you're interested in hearing and what topics you would like us to discuss in a more deeper manner. We definitely will be discussing each of the doshas in depth. 3 segments will be dedicated to each of them, but also there are different topics that you have. If you just have a question, Dr. Mehta, if somebody wants to reach you, what's the best way of contacting you? Do you have a
I can share my email ID to you.
Go ahead.
It's Nikhil Mehta Mehta 68 at yahoo.co.in.
Fantastic. And they can email you. You can tell them that you saw him on with me, frankly speaking. Or if you just want to put a comment in and would like me to facilitate a conversation for you, that's possible as well. And again, this is a two-way conversation. So we want to know what you're thinking about, what you're interested in. I'm passionate about Eastern teachings and Eastern lifestyle. It's brought peace to my life. And I'm grateful that I was able to meet Dr. Mehta so many years ago. And I am grateful that I was able to share him with you today. And this will not be the last time that you see him on the Frankly Speaking with Sendra D. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And we will do this again. I'm not even going to ask you to come back because I know you already said yes, that you are coming back. So stay tuned as I continue to do these informational sessions, educational sessions. And welcome to the world of Ayurveda. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Subscribe to Frankly Speaking with Sendra D and join us each week as we uncover stories of resilience, transformation, and the pursuit of your true affluence mindset.
And I won't sit down, won't back out. You can't ever shut me up.
Come and join me on this journey. I promise not to disappoint. Don't forget to make sure you like, subscribe, and share to be notified when a new episode is released.